high-tech oils. Available from Auto One, Sprint Auto Parts and all leading independent auto stores.
Sydney Motorsport Park, it's almost the perfect place for one-make Porsche racing. It's fast, flowing, challenging and often unyielding. It's the perfect place for round 4 in a hugely competitive Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Australia presented by Pirelli season. This could be the critical weekend in the championship chase between HAMISH HARDEMAN and Jackson Evans. And all the action is coming your way from the Shannons Australian Motor Racing Nationals. Hello everyone, welcome to Sydney Motorsport Park. The sun is shining on the Shannons Australian Motor Racing Nationals for round 4 of our 2016 tour. And today, coverage coming your way from the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge presented by Pirelli. And it's a marquee round as well. I'll tell you more about that in just a second. Massive program this weekend, but the Porsches should be especially entertaining. A great championship battle underway between Jake Claridge and HAMISH HARDEMAN, and Jackson Evans at the front of the leaderboard. You could see it there with HARDEMAN leading the way over Jackson Evans after his clean sweep of race wins at Winton Motor Raceway just 3 weeks ago. In the elite division, it's Tim Miles leading the way, and that Class B fight will be one to watch as well. Plenty of action this weekend in the GT3 Cup Challenge. Since its foundation in 2008 at Mallala Raceway, the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Australia presented by Pirelli has provided plenty of great racing action over the years. And this weekend it celebrates its milestone 50th round. And there are plenty of great memories and stories to tell after so many great races.
A bunch of Porsche enthusiasts had some old Cup cars that had run in Carrera Cup and some other racing cars as well. They needed somewhere to race. The Shannons National Series was up and running, and it was all, seemed like a good idea at the time, so they got together, and something that was born out of enthusiasts wanting to just have somewhere to race has now turned into a really credible development series for Carrera Cup. Look, certainly there's some great guys in the field at the moment who are probably stars of the future. You've got Jackson Evans and HAMISH HARDEMAN sitting out the front there going toe-to-toe, sort of taking round by round. We've got Jake Claridge, who's our Porsche Motorsport Junior development driver this year. He's really coming on strong, but also in the elite class, guys like Tim Miles, Jim Campbell, Sam Shaheen. Also David Ryan has been having a really good year, so it's pretty close competition, and the important thing is that they're really enjoying themselves.
I think I've done 21 rounds in the series now. It's a really good series. I mean, the cars are fun to drive. It's really affordable because they're 4-year-old Carrera Cup cars now, so very, very affordable and fast. This is a really fun category to be part of. I think it's a stepping stone for the gentlemen and for the pros. So we've got in macro racing, there's 2 young guns, being Jackson Evans and Jake Claridge, and then HAMISH HARDEMAN. And those 3 guys are a second clear of us old fellas, and they will step up into the pro class. But I think you'll see a lot of the elite drivers in this category step up into the Carrera Cup elite level as well.
So a milestone weekend for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Australia presented by Pirelli, the 50th round in this series history. It's produced some amazing talent over the years, some great stories and some great racing, and it's continuing into season 2016. With a couple of young guns at the pointy end of the field putting on a show, and some very competitive drivers in the elite class racing very, very hard for the championship. Race 2 grid based on race 1 results. HARDEMAN and Evans on the front row, Claridge, Ryan, Miles, Shaheen next, with Jim Campbell just behind. But this is the Jim Richards Endurance Trophy race, the second of 3 Jims over the course of the year. The longer distance race and a series within the GT3 Cup Challenge that just adds more spice to this championship. We're underway in racing. HAMISH HARDEMAN from pole. Alongside him, Jackson Evans, who gets the best start, leads into turn 1 and gets a great run into that first very fast corner here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Renato Liberto, great start from Evans. He leads HAMISH HARDEMAN.
that run into turn one in these cars, you don't really need to brake, you just need to maybe lift off a bit to settle the car and turn in. So the great start that he had off P1 there really made it work for him through turn one, but then also give him that buffer to work with so he wasn't sort of prone to overtaking turn two as well.
So Hardeman won race one, having clean swept the most recent round of the championship at Winton Motor Raceway. And that's Sam Sheehan looking down the inside of Brian Finn at turn four. In the end, just decided to back out of that, which was probably the smart move. Here's Anthony Gilbertson, the Hallmark Homes car, the Queenslander, working his way forward and running towards the pointy end of the Elite Division this weekend. It's a good, clean opening lap, but this is a longer race, 30 laps at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's a long way round. They need to look after the Pirelli control tyres and make sure they can get to the end.
Sam Sheehan there looks like he's got quite a bit of pace. He's all over the back of him there, just trying to find the best way to get past though. And already he's also got another car looking to overtake him. So a bit of a tough situation for him to be in the meat and the sandwich, so to speak. But I'm sure they'll sort themselves out very quickly.
So a great response early in this motor race for Evans, who was beaten at Winton and had that damage in race two there where he failed to finish and cost him a big glut of championship points. So he needs to score as well as he can here at Sydney Motorsport Park, a track he won at 2 rounds ago at the Porsche Rennsport Festival. He beat Hardeman that weekend. It was Anthony Gilbertson running down into turn one. This is Jake Claridge caught up behind his teammate Tim Miles.
You can see the big shift lights above the steering wheel there and the dash as well, helping to sort of shift, sequential shifter in these cars in the middle there, pulling back to up gears, forward to down gears, and a great move there inside of turn two. Classic sort of diagonal break across into the first apex. You get the nose in front, then you basically own the corner from that point onwards. Great move.
Claridge finished third in race one. His improvement has been astonishing this year. It's his first full-time year in car racing, being the Porsche Junior Scholarship driver, the Jamie Blakey Scholarship, as Miles just thought about a look on Dave Ryan there at 5, but couldn't quite get through. So GT3 Cup Challenge was here at Porsche Rennsport back in late April. The track is a second lap faster this weekend than it was back in April. Claridge is 1.9 seconds a lap faster, so you can see the improvement as a racing car driver round to round, how quickly he is getting up to speed in these cars.
And this track as well, it might only be 11 corners, but there's quite a lot of elevation change and there's quite a lot of bumps on this track, and the more laps you do around Sydney Motorsport Park's Grand Prix circuit, the better in terms of just knowing exactly where you can place the car and how you can extract speed out of these cars around here as well.
Sam Sheehan, the Bend Motorsport Park HTFU Porsche, going along nicely, had a good run in race one on Saturday. There's John Morris back on the grid this weekend. Now the fourth most experienced driver in the GT3 Cup Challenge field. Here's a look back at the start. Slow one for Tony Martin.
Looked like he might have even been rolling a bit before the change there and then maybe backed out of it and bogged it down, but it was certainly a slow start compared to the rest of the field. Hamish got a great start there, but on the right hand side of him there, to have Jackson just launch into turn one and get that buffer is so important for lap one.
Anthony Gilbertson, good start from the Hallmark Homes Porsche. A lot of wheel spin though, but got past Jim Campbell.
That's one way of getting the back tyres hot at the start of the race, that's for sure. You can see no real big break into turn one either. It's a bit of a tussle in front, but you just got to try and get the car turned in and settled and just keep carrying that speed off the front straight.
There's the elite class rivals fighting it out. The Sydney side of Dave Ryan on home turf. Behind him, Tim Miles. Great super slow-mo shot. Miles sends it down the outside at turn two. It's a long way round there, but if you can stay on the outside for the change of direction, you're in a good spot, but instead there's a little bit of contact and Ryan holds onto the spot.
I was just about to say, if the car that's getting overtaken is playing ball and being polite and give you enough breathing space, you can make that stick quite well, and I think he did try and do that. Here we can see now he's got the nose up the inside. He's sort of just behind the sort of front door there, but Ryan there has just closed the door, kept going, and no love lost between them. I'm sure he'll have another crack on it this lap.
So down into one, Dave Ryan goes. A little bit of damage to the left front corner, the front splitter of that car. So they run up to turn two. Now Miles tries the other way around and sends it deep up the inside. It's gone too deep though, and he's locked the rear brakes and fired it up into the grass on the exit of turn two. Well, he tried one lap on one way, the other on the inside, and neither of them worked.
No, and what can quite often happen there, if you do outbrake yourself on the inside, you've got to try and make the turn if there's a car next to you so you don't hit them, and I think he's just run out of space to try and pull the car up and also rotate it. Real shame for him there, because it was a good battle they were having before then, but you can just see, as you mentioned, lock the rears on the downshift, and as soon as the car starts to go, you basically have to clutch in and just hope you can get the car re-going.
So he'll have to live to fight another day. On board, Anthony Gilbertson into turn 1, 240k an hour exit here. Oh, he's had a big moment. He's had a huge moment. He's gone round.
That is huge. That is a big speed, as you mentioned. They're probably doing 210 something through there on the apex. That is a huge moment to have, and you saw the rear end let go, and he just didn't catch it quite quick enough, and it bit him.
Wow. And Jim Campbell, how he didn't have an accident there, I don't know. Might have to have a pants change after the race though. So watch this, Gilbertson at full noise.
There's 3 bumps there just where that curb is, and you could see the car unsettle on the first one, and he didn't settle it before the second and then third, and then that was the end of it, and a huge run down the outside there. Very, very lucky they both got away with it. You quite often see cars make contact with the wall in turn 1 at that sort of speed, so great effort. Campbell
destroys the 150 marker. I hope no one was using that as a breaking point for turn 2. Wow, intense racing in the elite division in the GT3 Cup Challenge. And now look at this little battle of 4 cars. Headed up by Campbell, the Martini liveried McElrea Porsche, the Hallmark Holmes car of Gilbertson in behind, both of them having survived spins and offs at the wildest bit of the racetrack you can imagine. Gilbertson goes down the inside, Morris looking to attack as well.
It's very hard to be that lead car in a situation like that. Oh, there's big contact and climbing over the top.
Wow, Campbell launched over the top. And big damage to both cars.
Hopefully you can see both drivers moving inside the car there. I'm sure they're okay, but would certainly rattle the cage seeing a car literally come over the top of you is quite an unusual thing to see in GT racing.
Wow, that's done a reasonable bit of damage, you feel, on Jim Campbell's car. So Gilbertson went down the inside, and that was on, and then the switchback up the inside for the Martini Porsche, and there was contact, and then because there was lock on Gilbertson's car, it just rode up and over the front corner of the blue Porsche.
I'd say that day's done for both of those cars. That's pretty significant impact on both of them in terms of the suspension and geometry in the front end. I'd say both of those cars, if one still keeps going, probably make its way back into the pit lane and park up.
And Sam Shahin's had an off separate to that. He was involved in that fight, though not quite the exact contact that was going on. So the Adelaidean is going to have to work his way back through the field. Meanwhile, Jackson Evans out in front. He's broken the lap record here that was set by Hamish Hardeman in race 1, pulling away the McElrea Porsche from his young rival in this great fight between the two of them for supremacy at the pointy end of the GT3 Cup Challenge continues this weekend.
Jackson Evans doing a great job in the car there. Sydney Motorsport Park's quite a bumpy circuit. The bumps aren't that intense, but there's a lot of mid-frequency bumps around the track. The car's super well sorted, and Jackson's doing a great job there on this last lap of the race.
So just a few corners to go, and the momentum shifts in this championship have been fascinating to watch this year. When Ryan Simpson came out at Sandown and blew the field away, then it was Hamish Hardeman, well then it was Jackson Evans here at Rennsport, then Hamish Hardeman at Winton, and now Evans is getting one back on his young rival. So this great fight continues. Won to Sonic yesterday, and the Jim Richards Endurance Trophy race, the second of 3 this season, goes the way of Jackson Evans at Sydney Motorsport Park. That is a very, very big victory in the context of this championship. Hamish Hardeman across the line in second place. Good drive from him, point scoring drive from him across the line in third. Claridge was third, Ryan fourth, and Morris, Miles, Shahin, Finn, McGregor and Gilbertson limped home to complete the top 10.
It was awesome to get a good start and get out in front early, and obviously I saw all the action happening behind, but no, happy to keep our nose clean and push on. The whole race, obviously we're being pushed by Hamish, like the gap slowly crept out, but we're all sort of thinking about the next race as well, so no, it's good.
So it's 1-1 between the two young rivals in the 50th round of the GT3 Cup Challenge. There's more action on the other side of this break. You're back at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's the Shannons Nationals and a marquee 50th round for one of the staples of our championship. It's the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge presented by Pirelli. An amazing title fight so far this year and a great battle between two superstar young drivers. HAMISH HARDEMAN and Jackson Evans start this one with one win apiece this weekend. Evans starts it from pole. Jake Claridge from third. Ryan is in the mix. Tim Miles in the game. There's some real contenders stacking up for this final 9-lap sprint race. It should be a belter. This is a fight of intensity between these two young guys at the front of the field. Exactly right. In a 9-lap race, you've just got to try and just bolt. Just put your head down, don't even look at your mirrors, and just go for broke and try and get yourself a big margin. Racing, great start. Jake Claridge, look at him go down the inside of his teammate, Jackson Evans. Hardeman from the outside of the front row of the grid goes through and grabs the lead. I thought for a moment Claridge might have got himself to P2, but he slots into third. This is the repaired car of Anthony Gilbertson, who copped that damage when we saw aerial Porsche action in race 2 with Jim Campbell launching over the top, and you can see Campbell's car is back out. Huge amount of work to get it back on track. Quite a bit of bodywork, new front windscreen, new side windows, front suspension upright and an engine mount. All of those thrown at that car between races. It's a busy crew and certainly between races as well. What you're forgetting is the team and the driver don't have a chance to actually test that car before they roll out. So if you've got a 9-lap race, you've got to just go for it straight away and hope the car's been put together properly and everything's safe. So Hardeman pulling away on cold Pirelli tyres as he gaps the field. There's Claridge, Miles to fourth, Morris fifth, then Shahin, Brian Finn, Gilbertson and Ross McGregor. Should mention that Roscoe's great mate and friend of ours, Jeff Emery, is here this weekend watching on. Great to see him back at a racetrack after his GT crash in Perth earlier this year. Still getting around with a back brace and a couple of broken vertebrae he's got to deal with, but it's good to see him getting the good old therapy of just being around some tyres and some petrol in the paddock. Absolutely. That onboard there from HAMISH HARDEMAN, he's doing a great job. That turn 10-11 sort of section there where you've got the long right and the double left towards the end there. Really good use of the curbs, keep the car flowing through there and maintain all the speed. Might look like it's hard on the car, but it's actually, if you get it right, the car's unloaded on that side. It's very, very smooth to go through there at pace. Tim Miles, P4, big spin, huge. big spin. Off the road goes John Morris at turn 1. At warp speed. It's 240 k's an hour an entry to that corner. That is a big moment. John's a hugely experienced guy in these cars, so I'm not sure if something may have failed in the car. It looked like it rotated incredibly quick, whether or not it's pinched a gear or it's a low tyre, but that is a huge get off even before he's past the curb where there's the second bump there. So something may have let go in the back of that car there, but great to see the car obviously pull up on the circuit. Very safe there, lots of runoff area. John's done an awesome job of pulling that car up safely. It is one of the biggest runoff areas in Australian motor racing. You're seriously a long way off there, but when you're entering at 240k before you hit the brake pedal, it's a pretty wild place. You heard of that extreme entry drifting where you aim to get into the corner as backwards as you can? He's a contender for that. Yeah, that was a big moment. He'd certainly get the style points from the judges, definitely. So Claridge now just watching on from third place. We've been waiting to see him get in with these two guys out in front and chase them down, and we spoke of his improvement round to round in race 2. He's driving this thing hard, but we wanted to see what he could do when he got running with the 2 leaders, and he's right there. He's not giving any time away to these two in front that have got a lot more experience, not just in cup cars but in motor racing in general between them. So really impressive stuff. Jake Claridge holding on. Great onboard here, this long straight, over 800 metres long. You just basically keep pulling gears. Cars come past under the toe there, you'll duck straight back in behind it. What's important here through turn 1 is to make sure you get some clean air to make the car balance with the aerodynamics. But then really line up your run coming into turn 2. Neville Stewart, we ride on board with Class B Porsche, which means he's in the first generation 997 GT3 Cup car. Slightly different styled car. They've got 3.6 litre flat 6 compared to the 3.8 in the Generation 2 cars. That's a Gen 2 car that Brian Finn's driving. See the tail light design, and they've got the LED driving lights on the front. just a later evolution cup car. Class B is a great entry point into this category, and Jackson Evans raced in it last year, raced Aaron Seaton for the Class B title in GT3 Cup Challenge, and one Matthew Campbell was a graduate of Class B as well, and he's kicking some big goals in Porsche racing and indeed in the Supercars Enduros at the moment.
What's fantastic as well for the young kids coming out of, say karting or Formula Ford is that you've got a similar one-make series to what this is. All the cars are roughly the same specification, whether they're a more current specification car or a Gen 1 car. But it ultimately comes down to the driver, and that's really what it's about, is learning how to throw a GT car around against other GT cars of the same specification. So as a driver, you learn to improve the way you drive the cars, and ultimately, that will improve you across everything else you drive as well. Yeah,
and that's why the Jamie Blakey Scholarship came into effect as Tony Martin kicks up some debris at the top of Sydney Motorsport Park, because Jake Claridge knows he is in the same machinery as this guy that's leading the motor race, Hamish Hardeman. It's all down to driving talent, and these kids have got plenty. Evans is closing here. This is not done with yet. And as this race goes on, how close can Jackson Evans get?
I'd actually say, just from by looking at it, I reckon Evans' tyres are actually in better condition at the moment as well. So the car's not moving around as much, whether or not it's just him not pushing as hard. Oh, he's a bit hard on the front end there in the braking, though, a bit of understeer, and that's probably cost him the chance of a real shot for the title here at this round.
There's not many laps to go in this one either. So Hardeman absorbing the pressure at the Rensport round in the long race that wrapped up the round that weekend, 35 laps. Hardeman led for 33 of them. Evans caught him, just pipped him with a couple of laps to go. So Hamish will be very, very keen to get one back on his young rival this weekend.
And it can be very hard to be that lead car as well for so long. 9 laps is not so hard, but certainly it's always easier when you're the chasing car. You've got that carrot, you know how far you can push, you know what the conditions are like in front. And certainly, in a shorter race like this, you just want to try and press on.
So, 3.9 kilometres of Sydney Motorsport Park. Here's Hamish Hardeman. See the entry on the graphics. 240 k's before they break down there at turn 1. 180 through the middle of the corner, and then another big stop up at turn 2.
He's quite defensive there, Hamish, on the turn 2. Normally he can push a little bit wider to get the drive out into 3. He kept the car a little bit tighter. Basically, if Jackson wants to find his way past there, he needs to go the long way around. It's very clever driving by Hamish.
And then this great change of direction at turn 4. He's working pretty hard on the front end of this car. It's sliding around a lot. These Pirelli tyres have done now 2 9-lap races and the 30-lap Jim Richards Endurance Trophy battle. Evans had just a bit of a look. Hardeman under pressure. Bobble mid-corner. Final lap of the race, this too. Down the inside goes Evans, round Corporate Hill. Huge commitment required to do this, and they're still side by side. Great rotor racing between the two young guys. Evans goes the long way at the hairpin. Hardeman needs to squeeze him wide. He does so. Evans runs out of racing room. Hamish is going to win this. What a great motor race.
Yeah, that was really, really good. They both gave each other plenty of room to try and work things out, but on the exit of the turn 9 hairpin there, he just pushed turn 8, pushed Evans a little bit wide, choked him for the run off the offshoot there, and obviously gives himself enough margin to get the run to the line.
Huge win for Hamish Hardeman. Massive result for the championship. He beats Jackson Evans in a straight fight and does it in style. What a great race. Tim Miles will come across and win the elite division. Should mention Jake Claridge home in 3rd, and he really shaded those two. If they came to blows, he might have found himself winning a motor race there.
Well, that's exactly right. Jackson did a great job on the grass to still be on the power and not lose the car and lose another position. Great effort by him.
Terrific motor race. So Tim Miles confirming wins a lead. Great drive back through the field for Anthony Gilbertson to finish 5th in front of Sam Shahin, Jim Campbell, Ross McGregor, Brian Finn and Tony Martin.
We were pretty close in practice and qualifying with each other, always within half a tenth. I was fortunate to get the first race win, he got the second, so it came down to the last race. So, we're both willing to do whatever it takes to get the win, and very close race at the end. But I'm very happy that I got out and got the win.
So, the points, Hardeman 331 to Evans 290. It is championship on in the GT3 Cup Challenge. And Jake Claridge, still in calculation, sits in 3rd place. In the elite class, it's Tim Miles on 318 over Sam Shahin and David Ryan, with Gilbertson up to P4. And in Class B, Danny Studdert leads the way over Shane Barwood, and that championship should go down to the wire. That's it for this week's coverage of round 4 of the Shannons Nationals, but there's plenty more coming your way over the next couple of weeks. Thanks to the team. Head to thenationals.com.au for more about the Shannons Australian Motor Racing Nationals.
Due to SBS's comprehensive coverage of the Tour de France, Speedweek will be back next Sunday with a special 1-hour edition from 4 p.m. Australia-wide. We hope you can join us.